ultimate goal should be to make sure that every single young person in the state of Arkansas gets the best education that is right for them.
I think as a teacher now at House Hall, it's kind of amazing when a student feels really safe and valued, how much they can accomplish or how successful they can be.
Today has been an opportunity for all of the Northwest Arkansas parents to come together and see what options are available for their children. That really pays off. Keeps everyone on their toes, and it makes us bring our A game and knowing that there is competition now. It's not just the four walls and desks and straight lines anymore. We have to make ourselves available to today's learning.
I think it's important because everyone learns differently. I think it should be up to you where you want to go to school, like how big of a school you want to go to, what they offer, whether you're interested in academics or sports or both, and just kind of the environment that you prefer. I think it's important that we not be confined down to only having one choice.
Here in Arkansas, and I wanted to start this next segment with that amazing video, which is from the Northwest Arkansas. What is it? Northwest Arkansas School Choice, NWA School Choice. They put on this event in Springdale. Matter of fact, there's an article that Dave Perazek wrote about this. It's not in a sequential order, Joe. I'm going out of order here. Headline, Springdale Festival highlights school options in Northwest Arkansas. Did you hear that young lady at the end there saying it's just really good not to be confined to one choice? Some superintendent's heads just spun around like, 360 degrees. No! What's wrong with the choice, right? And as I was looking around at that video as we were watching it, I was thinking, well, this is kind of like a job fair, or it's kind of like those if you're a junior or a senior in high school, and you'll have college days where all of these universities will show up and they'll set up tables, and you kind of get to shop around, decide where do you think you want to go to college and that sort of thing. Here's my advice: if you go to college, you better make sure you already know what you want to do. That's my advice to you. And you better have a path forward, because the debt at this point is just faster and faster. It's not becoming worth it unless you have a specific area and you know what you want to do. But anyway, so what's the problem with choice? Well, the problem with choice is right now there is a tendency, I don't care who you are, but there is a tendency for people to want to stick to the way things always have been, to keep the change from actually happening. And anytime the government's involved in funding something and you're trying to say we need to do things differently, or the concept, I've always loved the concept of, hey, your tax dollars should follow you to where you want to go, and that makes people absolutely crazy when you think of a system like that. But at some point we got to get to a point where is this about the kids and the education? I mean, why do we offer public education? Why do we offer public education? The answer is, well, we offer it because, we want our society to be successful. We want our, economy to be successful. We want kids to know and have the skills to be able to do what they want to do, to pursue their American dream. I mean, there's a ton of reasons why this is a thing. The question is, on this whiteboard right now, though, is the statement on the whiteboard this week is you don't get what you pay for. Because right now, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll take this opportunity to tell you that this particular segment of Conduit News Radio is brought to you by Conduit for Commerce, this is a Conduit for Commerce policy segment. They're on a mission. You can go to conduitforcommerce.org to check out more, putting Arkansas small businesses first. So why would Conduit for Commerce be sponsoring this segment about school choice? And I'll tell you, teaching our kids reading, writing, and arithmetic so Arkansas small business owners have a skilled workforce, okay, to choose from, which we don't have one of those right now that's healthy, is a huge boost to our economy. It's a huge boost to Arkansas business owners. If you'll talk to Arkansas business owners for years now, they'll tell you it's hard to get somebody to show up to work on time and pass a drug test. And that, by the way, that we're not even talking about whether or not they can do basic math and read and stuff like that. We are having a problem right now. We have a skilled labor shortage in Arkansas. And so that's the whole basis of this whiteboard. You don't get what you pay for. You're not getting what you pay for. We're already giving the government money to do these things, and that's why school choice is so important, because something has got to give. Something has got to change to try to right what's going on. I mean, they have your kids for 13 years, folks. They have them for 13 years, and now they want more money for workforce training. Okay, something's not right here. We're not doing something right, and it's not the teacher's fault. It's this entire... It's the institution. It's become something that's not, or it's deviated from its original mission. Check it out, though. Back to this article. Springdale Festival highlights school choice options. The first of the article, Laura Cole attended the Northwest Arkansas School Choice Festival on Saturday to survey the educational options for her two children, ages 7 and 9. Cole's children are homeschooled, but she's looking to place them in one of the area's schools. Her primary concern, what kind of test, if any, the school would require of them to take before enrollment. She was pleased with the experience. She's quoted as saying, Cole, who is a Bentonville resident, they actually had people who knew what they were talking about. If you had a question, they had someone there who could answer your question. Isn't that a novel concept these days? What is that thing on us real quick? What does that say about our expectations interacting with other human beings? Can we just talk about that for a second? If you had a question, they had someone there who could answer your question. It was a good experience. I mean, I'm sorry. I think I have been watching a ton. I have been watching a ton of Seinfeld recently. On Netflix, they recently started airing the comedians in cars getting coffee. That's great. And so they started airing that, and Netflix also has a Seinfeld special. And so he's so observant about these little things. And so this quote is just, if you had a question, they had someone there who could answer your question. Oh, great. Great. This is where our human society is now devolved into just being grateful for basic communication skills. Anyway. All right. So what do we have here? They had a bunch of people who were very passionate. I love this quote here. Listen to this. And what's wrong with this? Why does the educational industrial complex, and that's really what it's becoming. And people talk about the military industrial complex, Dwight D. Eisenhower warning about it in his farewell address. Okay, but we are in, if we don't do something about this, we are in the time where we are watching our education system become an industrialized complex, because you do have corporations involved. You do have people. You have these up and coming, quote, businesses, end quote, if you can call them that know people will throw as much money as you suggest they should at education. And so you have all these private companies like, we want to step in. We want to help you. Folks, here in Arkansas, there was a company that last session wrote themselves into law and then got a no-bid contract. And everybody's like, you violated the procurement process. How could you do that? You violated the procurement process. And the legislators, they came back, the legislative council, and they said, well, they actually wrote themselves into the law. So the law that was written basically dictated specifically that they were the only ones that could offer this specific patent phrase, which is group learning. But they called group learning, you can go look this up over at conduitforaction.org. They called group learning something else, a new phrase, a new buzzword, like, I can't remember, preferred cooperative learning initiative or groups or whatever. It was just group learning. But because they used that specific phrase and put the specific phrase in the bill, and this company is the only one that uses that specific phrase, they get a no-bid contract. Here you go. You're the only ones that can do this thing that we've been doing forever, which is called group learning, which doesn't work out very well, by the way. So we're watching right now education become an industrialized complex. Just letting you know that. But listen to this. This is from the article, the Springdale School Choice Fair. After you've identified some schools that appear to be a good fit for your child, visit those schools. Wolf said, have your child shadow students there. I found in my research that parents who visit more than one school before making a school choice tend to be much more satisfied with the school they select because it's a more informed choice. Now, this is a concept in education that it should be very basic, but we don't have that, right? And the whole time I'm reading this article, I'm thinking, and maybe, I guess I'm uninformed, have things really changed? I thought you had to jump through 10,000 hoops to not go to the district that you live in. I think in many places that's still the case. If you don't want to go to the school district where you live, you got to jump through some hoops to get there. Anyway, school choice is a good thing. It's National School Choice Week. Let's look at the Reform Alliance, shall we? This is the Facebook page for the Reform Alliance. They are an integral part of what we need to do here in Arkansas to get more school choice for our parents, for our students, for the betterment of education. I want to remind you that tonight, this is actually National School Choice Week, and tonight you can go to the Mosaic Church in Little Rock and you can hear Dr. Howard Fuller, who we had on the program on Thursday, and Dr. Patrick Wolf, who, by the way, is so underutilized. Dr. Wolf is so underutilized in this state. He is an Arkansas resident, I believe, up at U of A, working on this issue, and he goes all over the country speaking about school choice. And, this guy is just, you very rarely hear, he's very rarely used. Anyway, we're going to get Dr. Wolf on to the program soon. So that's at 6 p.m. tonight. You can hear a debate about school choice with Dr. Patrick Wolf, Dr. Howard Fuller, and he's coming into, Dr. Fuller's coming into Little Rock. Then tomorrow, January 24th, National School Choice Week, you have an 11 a.m. event. Let me see here. Hang on one second. I'm going to have to open these so I can get a little bit more specific. So at the Arkansas State Capitol, okay, tomorrow they're having a rally there. Hang on, let me look at the details of this. Reform Alliance will be hosting a rally at the State Capitol on January 24th. Lunch provided. Hear from parents, students, and members of your community. Be sure to take pictures and add your hashtag, okay? This is a big deal. Then on the 25th, we have another event that's scheduled. This is going to be Thursday, hosted by, the Reform Alliance, 11:45 a.m., and it's going to be celebrating National School Choice Week. Here from parents, students, members of the community. Be sure to take pictures and hashtag AR18NSCW. This is going to be the Thursday event, 11:45 to 12:45 at the KIPP, the KIPP Central Campus in Blytheville, Arkansas. So you can check that out. And then if you go to the actual website, check this out. Go to the actual Reform Alliance website here. You can see, they'll talk about things. If you don't know anything about school choice, if I'm honest, it's probably one of the least topics we covered the least, right? Think about this. The concept of choice, isn't that synonymous with a word that we all love to talk about as conservatives called freedom? Right? Freedom. Freedom is choice. And many people, and I know you have to jump through hoops and things like that, but many people are opting out. Many people are opting out of the traditional systems because they just don't have a good feeling about it anymore. And, there may be some parents out there right now who want to know more about what this is. And you need to check out the reformalliance.org. That's the reformalliance.org, providing educational freedom to all Arkansans. And I want to use this opportunity to do a little flashback, okay? If you go to this article, Joe, throw this up on the screen, conduitforaction.org, Week 2 Legislative Scorecard. This was an amazing time back in 2017 where CFA was putting out scorecards every week of legislation that was on the radar. It's a very daunting task because you have legislation being filed constantly at the Marble Palace. And you can't catch everything, but this is what you caught. And on week number 2, the school choice bill that failed in a miserable embarrassment to Republicans was actually scored in week number 2 on the scorecard. This was Representative Jim Dotson's bill under education. And Conduit for Action supports efforts to expand school choice and efforts to make public education competitive and effective, with educating its students to be competitive and productive citizens as its only mission. It is the position of CFA that a successful workforce training effort in a state is simply an effective and successful K-12 education for its students. So you don't need this workforce education. Your workforce education should be the first 13 years that the institution, the school, has them, okay? And so this was Representative Jim Dotson's bill, House Bill 1222, and superintendents across this state lied about it. Not all of them, but a lot of them did. And they told the teachers, and then you had the teacher lounge. Basically, it's kind of like, I don't know if you know this, but my wife's a teacher. My mom was a teacher. Well, right now my wife's a stay-at-home mom, but you know, the teachers lounge is like it's like something equivalent to the Pony Express in terms of like that's where information gets delivered, and then it spreads like wildfire throughout the education system. But this bill would have created an income tax credit for donations to nonprofits that distribute education savings accounts to parents for use against the cost of tuition, tutoring services, and related costs of attending non-public schools and higher education institutions. It was a very small step of school choice. This is a school choice bill that will unleash the opportunity for students to succeed in Arkansas. This bill will allow educational opportunities outside of the traditional government-run public school system. And Republicans caved. And they couldn't get it passed because Republican legislators were not able to, not enough of them were able to basically talk to their superintendents and say, no, you're wrong. This is not what you say it is. And it really is a tragedy. It was another example of the massive Republican majorities down there failing us and deviating from the key plank of school choice that's in the Republican Party platform. You're listening to Conduit News Radio, National School Choice Week. That's what's going on. We got to take a break. Back in a minute.